Hello there, I'm Rafael de Furia, back at it again for another Friday night episode of Not Your Average Globetrotter. And this Friday, I'm taking you guys along on the trip that I took last week down to Lisbon, Portugal. These trains here that you're seeing are parked at the station here in Braga, the town that I currently call home. The train on the right is what is the Alfa Pendular that I talked about in the last episode. Right here is actually second class. Looks pretty comfortable, I would say. But on this trip, I decided to get a first class ticket because the second class was 38, the first class was 48. So I figured, be a little bit more comfortable for the 48 extra €10 ticket. And I have to say that I'm definitely glad that I did. This is actually my chair right over here on this left side. And I have to say that I'm very glad that I got this first class ticket just because the amount of leg space was absolutely perfect. Now we are just transporting and speeding through time, and now this is the Lisbon station Santa Apolonia. This is maybe one of the more centrally located within the city. There are a couple. There's this station as well as the Orient station. This actually happens to be the oldest station in Portugal, and it makes it really easy to get to the center of the city where you have a lot of the tourist attractions. The other station, Orient, is maybe the station that would make it a little bit easier to get to the airport. But as you see here, it makes it pretty easy to get to the center of the city. They even have all those scooters there. But what actually is probably the easier and faster way to get around is through the metro. Just underneath this station is a metro stop, and you'll see it down right here. You have actually on the left, there will be a ticketing machine, but if you go down the escalator, you have some more ticketing machines as well as the main arrival and departure hall from this station. And it actually happens to be the end of the line, so you have to make sure you just get onto the right platform so that you can head out and not get stuck at the station. But if you look over here, you'll see that there are machines that you can purchase tickets from, but it seems as though most of the tourists end up over there. Whereas if you walk just to the opposite side of the hall, there are two other machines where it doesn't seem as though as many people make their way to. And if you're getting your tickets, you can actually get them in English, so you don't have to worry about that, and you can pay with cash or card. You can put the card in the machine or pay contactless through a phone. Here on the screen, you'll see the different options available to you. You can either buy one ticket at a time, you can buy a daily ticket, or you can charge the card with X amount of euros and just take it from there. And as you see right here, just beneath the screen, there is a little slot where you can take your ticket as well as the receipt from. Make sure you hold on to the ticket. You will need it to scan into the metro system as well as to be able to get out of the metro station. And I have to say, the Lisbon Metro is probably one of the metro systems in Europe that is probably at the top for me. It's a cleaner, safer option in my personal opinion, and something that I think is really cool are these seats. They are super, super Portuguese. If you couldn't tell already what the material is that's on them, it's actually cork. Yes, the same thing that would be in your wine bottle is the same thing that you will sit on in the Lisbon Metro. When you get out of the train, you will usually have two options to get up. So you can take the stairs, or what you can also decide to do at most stations is take an escalator up as long as they're working. During my trip, I did have one or two stations where the escalator didn't work, so just keep in mind that you may run into that situation. But as you can see here, we're just about to approach the exit, and it's as simple as that. That's how you would get in, and that's how you would also get out. But we're just about to get above ground into the beautiful city. I only took the train maybe about 2 stops to get to this location because it happened to be the closest to the hotel where I was staying. It's probably the most touristy area, but it also can be fun if you've never been there before. I chose it because my hotel was very reasonably priced in comparison to everything else at the time. So just got here to the room, settled in a little bit, took my shoes off. It's a somewhat wooden floor, and yes, those are polka dots. And so the room is cozy. I'm not going to say it's a huge room by any means. Of course, we're in an older European city. The TV comes on as soon as you walk in. I'm going to save that for after. One great thing for me that I really am enjoying so far is that there is autonomous air conditioning. Makes a huge difference, especially in this weather right now. It's like 33, I think, right now, and tomorrow it's supposed to be quite a bit higher. But then also, just for fun, they happen to have also a bathrobe here. And the woman at the front desk explained to me that there is a mini bar here, and if I want anything, of course, it comes at a cost. Just curious as the prices. Water without gas, $2.50. Okay, so it's like not the worst price I've ever seen. Port wine, €5. Hey, I mean, like, look, it's not gonna be cheap, but worst case scenario for some water. But there's actually water that comes here for free. It's this is the name of the restaurant downstairs. Bastardo. It probably means exactly what you think. You can buy the glass from them, the bottle, for €12, but the water is free. They also have a coffee and tea maker. And we'll just go over to the bathroom before we go over to there, because that's probably my favorite thing about this room so far. Comfortable enough bathroom. I have wide-ish shoulders. It's not about being... Yeah, my shoulders are definitely, or my arms are touching from the wall to the door. Not exactly amazing, but anyway, there is a shower and bathtub here. And that's actually something I may take advantage of just because my apartment in Braga doesn't have a bath. Of course, a toilet necessary, I would argue, just in a hotel room. There's some, slippers. I may actually use those instead of walking around with my socks. There's a toothbrush here, hair dryer, tissues. I gotta admit, I'm actually pretty impressed because you don't always find that at European hotels. There is a little cash box here. You can hang your stuff up. But yeah, I'm gonna chill out for a little bit and maybe I'll head out in a little bit. Never mind, I completely forgot. I gotta show you the view. Let's go check this out. This is really something else. Yep, I am definitely in Lisbon. Ain't no doubt about it. With those tiles down on the sidewalk, that's Lisbon, all right. So for some of you who know how I like to travel, one of the first things that I always like to do after checking into a hotel is find the closest supermarket. So I asked at the desk where it wasn't. It seems like there's one like actually really close to where I'm staying. So definitely gonna check that out, grab some water, even though there's some water in the room that's free. So I'm not really too worried about that, but nice to have a little extra just in case you run out. And then also, I opted this time around not to have breakfast included because it was an extra €30, and I'm not big on breakfast anyway. I eat just something very, very light, so maybe I'll see if I can find like a couple bananas, or I don't know. We'll see what they've got at the supermarket here. And would you look at that? Look at where I'm staying, not too far from. Like, I'm really staying very much in the center of the city. Partially because I have some meetings that are not so far away, and then also because I thought it would be cool to maybe take a little extra time while I happen to be here to try and record a little bit. So that's what I'm doing right now. Kind of give you a little bit more of a, not necessarily like a tourist experience of, whoa, here's all the great tourist things that you can do. No, this is like, I'm somebody who's living in Portugal. This is my experience. You're kind of coming on through my eyes, so to speak, to experience the way that I'm experiencing it, rather than like, you know, you go on vacation and you tend to experience a place in a certain way because only a tourist will see it through certain eyes. I want to avoid that as much as possible, even though I'm definitely in the thick of it right now. So we are just getting close to this little supermarket, or I guess it's a express kind of mini market, mini preço, like a normal just Portuguese kind of supermarket brand that you see everywhere. Nothing so crazy, nothing so special about this. So let's go in, check it out, see what they've got to offer. And I'm curious though, comparing the prices to a less touristy part of Portugal. Okay, so definitely some tourist prices. I'm not gonna say that things were so much more expensive, but just like the water itself, definitely more expensive. This is mini market prices in the middle of the city, so not supermarket prices. I wish I could have gone to a normal supermarket, but this was close enough and whatever. I'm just gonna make it work. But on the way back to the hotel, I'm gonna take you guys down over in this direction, and we're gonna go check out kind of the main tourist drag here. When you see a lot of the tourist videos from Lisbon, this is really kind of one of the main places that you see it from. It's not so much this direction, but that direction down there. I want to get this stuff back to the hotel, but I think I'm gonna head over there in a little bit. Oh, Bolt has bikes here. If my hotel had a better place to park those bikes, I'd definitely take one. But this is definitely some fun. Like it's definitely a touristy city, but being in Lisbon, it's a fun location. It's different than a lot of other European cities. It feels kind of like a beach town in a way, at least in this weather, but it's still a city nonetheless. And I do happen to be in the most touristy part of the city, of course, like I mentioned before. And I can definitely feel the difference coming from small little Braga. I mean, don't get me wrong, I really enjoy Lisbon. But for me, the place where I want to call home is Braga. It's more, I like small town for living. I like that ability to just have daily life, to be able to walk to what I need. Like here, there's a couple things that I need to go to and want to check out this evening while I have some time off. But instead of having everything like in Braga accessible to me in like maximum 10 minutes, here I have to travel maybe a half an hour to get theoretically, maybe it's 20 minutes. I have to double check with the routes, but yeah, it's not quite my small little new hometown. So right here is actually the corner where my hotel is. These are the rooms of the hotel, and this is the little side street that it's on. It's a great little location, but let's get back to the hotel for a little supermarket haul. And you'll actually see the entrance is right around here. So even though the rooms are above some of these stores, the entrance is just a very small little place right next to that touristy liquor store. And just as we're about to get up into the room, there's a funny little quirk about this hotel, which you do sometimes see around Europe, that you can have an elevator, but your room won't always be on the same floor as where the elevator gets out. And you may have a quote unquote half floor. So I had to go down a half flight of stairs to get over to my room. And no, not a complaint, just a funny little quirk. All right, so just to give you guys a little bit of an idea of the haul, I don't normally eat these kinds of things, but sometimes you need a little something different. And I've got 2 bottles of water here. So just to give you, oh, and the other thing about this hotel is actually, from staying here, there's a complimentary glass of port. I'm probably not going to take them up on that. But to give you an idea of the prices, I'm actually surprised here because the water was normal price, and that was 60 cents each bottle. The bananas imported were 40 cents, and these guys over here, the Golden Grams was $3.29, and the white chocolate one was $2.99, and then the bag, of course, this being Europe, was 10 cents. And here is where we conclude this part 1 of this trip to Lisbon. If you would like to see more, be sure to let me know in the comment section below. And of course, a huge thank you to those of you who've watched, subscribed, shared these episodes, as well as given the likes on YouTube. That really makes a huge difference and helps the project out. But an even bigger thank you to those of you who helped to make these projects possible through Patreon, as well as the one-time donations here on YouTube, as well as rafaeldefuria.com/support. Really, thank you so much. I hope that this has been informative and also enjoyable. And of course, I'm Rafael de Furia. Stay safe and healthy out there, and I will see you all next time. Later.